listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good evening and welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, coming at you live for criticalmassradio.co.uk from somewhere in the known and unknown universe. I am just a figment of your imagination, a thought in the back of your mind, kicking and screaming, saying, "Wake up!" That's all I scream. Wake up. Wake up. Someone's got to wake up. This is boring. Anyway, what a great night last night. It's all wonderful when Sivan comes in, and I think it's pretty clear that I love hearing him talk, because anytime he comes in, I know it's going to be a pure download, so I just sit back, curl up, and wait for story time. That's just one of the beautiful speakers that Sivan is. You just sit back and go on the ride with him. Yeah, I just wanted a couple of things, too. Something I wanted to mention last night, before we ended up going off in that wonderful direction. I just want to say a great big thank you to Frank, British Columbia. I got to tell you, what you sent me was the absolute last thing. It was on my list of last things I would ever expect in this known universe. And I have my very own O.W. Grant hand-carved monkey head pipe. So the universe delivers after all. It's pretty wild. You see my face when I open the box. It's like, no. So thank you so very, very much. And it sits in a place of honor. So I guess we'll be granting wishes now. Who wants one? Careful. Remember. What do they say? If OW takes a shine to you. So stay shiny. That's all I can say. Stay shiny. But anyway, a couple of things I want to touch on tonight. Let me just go back to. Well, there's a lot of things I want to share, but I also just want to let Fran know that I will be talking about something that will be very helpful. And I'll tell you, the only time I will indulge, and that's all it is, it's just an indulgence basically to bitch slap the system in the mouth. The only time I will indulge in directing anyone with anything is when I know that they're not of the system, not in the system, and not only have been willing to take a run at it, but are in a prime position to take a run at it. The difference between someone that I don't mind working with is from someone that I won't, is the intention behind it. If it's someone's intention to go for their own gimme, not interested. If it's someone's intention to go, let's take this whore down, shall we? Then I'm all over that. I've met a couple of those in the last few days. So this is only really the only time I'll step in and offer any sort of opinion. And mind you, those that are in the gimme, this works for you as well. But you kind of got to know who you are first. Otherwise, it's going to be basically useless, like so many free man gimme types that only saw me as a means for them to keep their toys and make their life all peachy for them and fuck everybody else. I don't play on that side of the fence. I love hand grenades over. Yeah, because, well, I had to tell you, somebody wants to keep throwing empty hand grenades at me, I'm going to fill them up with gunpowder and toss them back. And that's exactly what the system's going to do with those that won't take the time to get the concept, because here's the trick of the tale. You are the power. You are the gunpowder, not the words on the paper. And this is probably the most difficult thing for me, to literally peel this paper off people, get it out of their universe. But let me share something first, then I will let's do a little inspiration, because this is the kind of stuff I love to, and it happens quite regular with those that know who they are and are willing to stand not just for themselves, but stand shoulder to shoulder with the rest of us. That's what's going to separate the wheat from the chaff. Those that are playing in the game for the gimme games of the what matters most for me, is definitely not something that's in balance with the universe. For me, it's what's best for all, because I'm included in that all. So I won't be selfish and say, me, me, me. I will say all, because I'm part of that. So if I want something perfect for all, gosh darn it. Isn't that neat, right? He goes, I want it perfect for me. Excuse me. So I'll share this first, and I'm going to offer up a wrench for those that are dealing with any sort of mortgage stuff. And I'll get into the reasons why, but mainly because it's an open door. See, where people see court as a challenge, I only see it as an open door to strangle the beast, literally cut its heart out by invitation. You see, that's the thing about consent. If you're being invited into a courtroom, well, isn't that funny? You get to be the vampire. Time for you to turn the tables a little bit, no? Isn't that what Jesus did? Yeah, some radical truther guy like that went in and turned the tables. Allegory. That's what it means. Those things that were used against you in your mind of duality are the very same things that you use the other way to balance them out. Right? Then it comes singular. So here's what I'll share. And I have to say a great big thank you for those that take the time to put together little posts to share with everyone, just so everyone gets to see it. So this one is from a group that Ninja overlooks. From the Heart is the name of the Facebook group. Thank you, Ninja, for posting this. These are the kind of things that just rock my universe. From the Heart. As soon as I set foot in my homeland again, a collecting agent from the homeland being Netherlands, Holland, whatever you want to call it, the Orange country, yes. As soon as I set foot in my homeland again, a collecting agent from the bank was on the hunt since I gave them the keys and papers back of their house when I left the country over a year ago. And so the agent wanted to put me in debt for almost $150,000 and have me sign some documents that would have taken me even deeper down the snake pit. I had no idea how to get them to leave me alone. That's all I wanted. But having no solution made me almost give up. And that's not me. I can't give up. Of course not. So about 5 weeks ago, I stumbled upon this page, the lovely no response, or no nonsense, and sharp as a samurai blade Ninja Bambi, Kate's writings, some very helpful page members, the radio shows and recordings, made some new friends. Reading and listening for about a week or so made me realize so many things, and that made it possible to connect the dots even more. I wrote a letter of 16 pages to the agent personally, where I confronted him with the fraud, clearly stated my intentions, claimed my rights, and gave him 21 days to respond. Well, that's 1 month ago now. Have not heard a single thing from neither him, the bank, nor the notary ever since. Nothing. While they were attacking me like a swarm of mosquitoes before. That's the power of intent and knowing who you are. So thank you all for standing in truth and helping me do the same. Many, many blessings and much love. Many, many blessings and much love back. It's kind of how it works. And this is how it's done. So thank you for showing everyone in such clear, unrequited brilliance. Just one second. Now, I did not, not that it's really, really important. Didn't get a name. But okay. I know some of the people involved, and it's part of the Holland group. And I got to tell you guys, if you know anything about history, taking out the Goonies in Holland, you're playing in the Premier Division there, baby. All right? There's no 4th Division soccer there. That's Premier Division. So that's not a light victory. That is monster. So that being said, for those of you that are dealing in a mortgage type of situation, one, I've got an open door. It's called a case file. So you might as well throw lots of intention in there. And the first intention I would suggest people to do, and that's the problem with no name. You got to be really careful, and that, I'm talking about me here. and how you deal things. So I always resist the physical temptation to do something because that's not where I live. So it's an interesting game, perspective from here, I'll tell you that. But here, if I was you, that's what I would do. If I was still in that situation, I would simply subpoena or file a motion, whatever. I don't know what the hell was. I'd have to go back through my notes just to see the protocol that they like to railroad people with. But the bottom line is this. If it's involving a mortgage, I will bet you dimes to donuts that the real criminal isn't even listed. I will bet you that they would certainly not like to have whoever signed the loan with you present, because they're the ones that skipped out on the loan. Now, what I will suggest for people to do is go and read the Loans and Mortgages Who's Who essay on my website, creativegaia.wordpress.com. And this will make a whole lot more sense. You also will want to look at the Midas Touch essay and have a look at contracts as well. And put all the pieces together and you'll see very quickly what's going on there. You'll understand what a seal really is, and it's a raised seal that's on every signed document. If you touched it, there's a raised seal. You can't see it, though. It's called DNA. You leave little bits of your meat stick lying around somewhere, maybe, like on the bottom of the document when you touched it. That's slightly higher than the rest of the document, which makes it a raised seal. Yeah? Thought you might. It's got nothing to do with the X. It's got nothing to do with the signature. It's got nothing to do with the line. Nothing to do with any of that. Those are all the distractions. Because you can see them. I'll tell you, if you can see it, it's a distraction. Go look for the shit you can't see. Then you'll see what's going on. So in fact, just to lay it out in very clear terms, when you go in to get a loan at a bank, it is you that is lending whoever is sitting across the table in the bank money. You're guaranteeing for that bank manager or loans officer this money. You're lending it to them because dead things can't contract, you see. You're making a contract with the bank. They want to keep you dead, though, right? And they have forensic evidence that, of dead skin cells, right? Let the dead bury the dead, right? And that's your Midas touch on everything. No, you lent the bank manager. Let's just say the bank manager, just for sake of whatever titles they used for these monkeys. But anyway, what you've done is you have sealed the deal with that individual. You have lent them the money. Remember, they're so helpful? Well, don't worry. I'll take care of making sure that they get the check and everything else, right? You never see the cash. They don't just hand you the cash over, do they? No. It's got to be them that makes the buy because you lent them the money. That's keeping them in honor. So what the bank manager does then, let's say you have a $500,000 mortgage that you want to get scammed with. You think you're buying a house. No, you're not. The bank manager is buying it for you, and you're going to be their tenant. And we'll be tied you if you skip out on your mortgage, your death pledge. Because the instant you do that, the bank comes to their employee and says, hey, what's up with, well, they don't actually do this, but this is the concept behind it. Most bank managers don't know that they're on the hook for every loan they've ever made. They're fucking criminals on criminals, man. They've got no idea. So it might be an idea to think back to who you signed the deal with, and you're going to have to either get them subpoenaed in or you're going to have to file a fraud motion against them. Can you say monkey wrench? Speaking of monkey pipe, let's talk about a monkey wrench. This is where you get the good pipe fitter. No, this is the one individual they don't want in the bank because they're the ones that really cut the deal with you. You see, and here's the joke of it all, too. So it's got nothing to do with the mortgage. It's got nothing to do with the house or anything else. You're a third-party interloper. You have no business in there. You're just a fucking tenant. It was the bank manager who skipped out in the loan. They just you into paying it for them. And as soon as you stop paying their mortgage or their loan for them, lo and behold, what happens? Well, they have a contract with the bank, so the bank comes and says, well, we'll just take that piece of property. And the joke of it all, not one single thing in terms of any value was ever exchanged. It's just an agreement. Little numbers in the computer, little pieces of paper people call money, little pieces of paper that people call contracts, and all the rest of it. And that's all distraction. You see, it's got nothing to do with the money. It's got nothing to do with the paper. It's got nothing to do with the digital numbers. None of that stuff. It's got everything to do with your soul. And tonight, boys and girls, we're going to have a bit of fun. And hopefully I can use the ego fear tool to show you that giving up your soul is not a good thing. And it's my intention to motivate you a little bit more into the spiritual realm, because otherwise, well, here, it's a win-win or a lose-lose, right? You go for the immortal soul side of the game. Pick door number 1, the soul, Bob. Because once you pick door number 1, you win both doors, physical and spiritual. You pick the physical. Well, you know the one in Let's Make a Deal, they opened the door up when somebody made a mistake and it had a goat tied on a stick. Yeah, your goat got, baby. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't have to want to be the one that has to come back around in this game in a ongoing Groundhog Day. Because I assure you, each time you come back, you're depleted a little bit more. You have more knowledge. But I'm not sure about how strong your will is going to be. That's the real clincher for me. Yeah, you may know how to win. You may know exactly what to do. But if you haven't got the fight in you, you're done anyway. I've met more armchair billionaires than I'd ever want to shake a stick at. Well, you know, Kate, if I did this, and I'm just going over my whole lifetime, I met many of these people. You know, if I did this, and this, I could be a millionaire, and I could do that. And I said, yeah, it's great. None of them ever did. So very few ever do that, you see. It takes will, it takes spirit, soul, to do these things, to achieve, and I'm not talking about achieving money, screw that. What I'm talking about is finding yourself again. And the irony here is, people that don't want to do it obviously don't think that they're worth it. See, there's the difference. I know you are. And there's nothing more frustrating for me to watch people that I know are fully capable succumbing to the same shit they've always succumbed to. Until maybe they might reach that enough point. They might have something shake their universe enough to wake them up, to move them that one baby step forward. I was saying Battle Los Angeles. Retreat? Hell. We just got here. Not a chance. This is a game of take no prisoners. This is a game of no quarter was ever offered, so no quarter is ever given. Those that make the rules must obey the rules, and I'm good. This is a game for your soul. Not your house, not your car, not your kids, not your family, not your this, not your the other, none of that stuff. No, boys and girls, they want you. And I mean that in the intent, the ability to create intent. You spark of God, you, with this big hose coming out of the back of your head, having all your life source sucked out of you. If you can envision a picture of the whore of Babylon, just think of this festering, scab-curd, gray pussy coming out of her tits whore, with long, scraggy nails and pure death in her eyes. And out of her belly button is this big, long cord, umbilical cord. And it frays off like a tree, you see. You got to think tree. You might want to get a look at Avatar, the tree in that, and you'll see the twisting nature of it. But coming out of her is that umbilical cord going off in infinite little threads. And at the end of each little thread is a little birth certificate. And then from the birth certificate, a little bit more going off of that into a very, very withered, almost dead meat stick. almost dead. It could look normal, but it's almost dead because the spirit in it is so depleted. And then if you look over to the right, you'll see a few of us, like myself, standing there with the scythe of the Grim Reaper, having hacked that thread, attaching us to that horse umbilical cord. Now, in that birth certificate, there's only 4 letters, and that keeps you bound to the Narmer palette. Not applicable, magnetic electric. That's what it means to come out of her. Come out of Babylon. Cut the umbilical cord. Because here's the thing, while a baby is feeding in the mother's womb, and I'm talking the system is the allegorical mother's womb here, what kind of nutrient is she giving you? You see, the system is the only mother I know of that is actually draining her children. Remember, everything's backwards here. What the system does is it gives birth to death, and the soul gives birth to life. I'm not sure how many more ways I can describe this, and I know it's very difficult for many people to see the surreality of this, and it's easy for me to explain it as well, because you've been so beaten down and so dumbed down, like myself, like all of us, over a lifetime, where everything you do is seemingly normal. Everything we do in everyday society. Like, you cannot have a conversation with anyone without money being mentioned, without I'm going to buy this or I'm going to sell that. Or I hope I have enough money to go here and have a trip somewhere. Or I hope I have enough money to do this, that, and you see instantly how the whole notion of what money is the purest distraction of all. I don't know. I used to laugh when they passed the plate around at church, If this is such an omnipotent, powerful God, what the fuck do you need collection plates for? Not a lot of faith there, is there? Gee, if these spiritual people called clergy, priests, imams, rabbis, whatever the hell you want to call them, if they were so certain of their God, they wouldn't need to ask for money, would they? Because they'd know they were creation itself. So there's a big hint and a big clue for everybody, just to sit back for 5 minutes and go, oh, you know what, Kate might have a point there. What the hell is the church asking for money for? If they're talking about an all-powerful, omnipotent God, well, wouldn't that God provide for? Of course, creation will provide, but they're not part of creation, you see. They're part of the parasitical nature that's destroying creation. You see, they're the dead soulless ones. The only thing they can do is stick an 18-gauge needle into your soul and suck you dry. And it's just because you said, hey, you over there, dead thing, come on over here and drain all of my life force, and I'm going to like it. Sounds a little insane to me personally, but whatever floats your boat and sinks your ankh oar, that one's entirely up to you, boys and girls. I just don't buy it. You see, it just doesn't feel right. And then when you really feel it, then it instantly doesn't think right, because all of this stuff just pops into your head. You go, whoa, I never looked at it from perspective before. So that's all I do now, is I go look at it from that other perspective all the time. And the truth just lays itself right down in front of you. It really is that simple, There are many of us I've talked to, I can't even begin to count how many people. But the common theme always seemed to be, I just wanted to be left alone. Yeah, well, don't we all? It's all I want. But in that process of wanting to be left alone, you already had an awakening to know that something was wrong, and you just wanted to get on with your own creation, your own life. It seemed like somebody was parasiting you. Geez, I remember the first paycheck I ever got when I was 14. I was making a whole $2.15 an hour, and I noticed that there was some deductions taken off it. And I had never been exposed to this before. And I looked at it and I thought, what the hell is that? I worked 10 hours. I get $21.50. Instead, I got something like 15 and change. Right? So it started pretty much with the first paycheck I ever got. Because I'll tell you, when I used to cut lawns and, shovel driveways and stuff like that, I got handed, it was $10 to do this, and I got handed $10. There wasn't any little corners of it missing or any, well, here's $8.50, right? Or here's $7. No, you said 10 and I got 10. And that's all the system is. The lawyers, the judges, the cops, the governments, the paper pushers, you call them, insurance agents, bankers, tax collector types, and all. Basically, any job that doesn't produce a fucking thing that is beneficial for mankind, yet is only interested in the parasiting of that energy. How many times have you heard from from someone that actually had to make a claim on insurance only to find out that they got the run around of their lives with money never collecting? You ever hear that story? That's the normal one. Go ahead, don't make an insurance payment. Wait to see how quick the mail comes out to you. What do you see? Oh, but you already know, right? They even give you a 15-day grace period. After that, you could have paid into an insurance for 50 years. It goes 16 days because you couldn't make that payment and something happens, you're not covered. But that's the way the system works. It's not designed for you to be protected. That's the illusion. What the hell does a God need protection for? No. That's if one can be duped into fear enough, wow, you can get all sorts of money. Look what the church does. They talk a load of shite, convince people that there's a hell. Welcome, you're already here, duh. Okay? And people empty their wallets. I mean, how many times you heard the story of little old ladies or little old gentlemen leaving their entire net worth to the likes of a Billy Graham or one of those, Jimmy Swaggart, whatever, Yeah, these guys were really starving, weren't they? Get up on a pulpit and talk a load of shite, and people drop millions in your lap every year. That's the fear culture. Now, think also in the terms of culture. What is a culture? Well, it's a bacterial culture, isn't it? Or you put one or two virus into a petri dish, St. Petri dish. Yeah, welcome to Earth. What happens? You might get the lid on it, keep it closed long enough, and that virus spreads and destroys the whole petri dish. And that's exactly what our government parasitical society is all about. And any agreements you have contained therein whereof, in any way, shape, or form, you're having the spiritual soul sucked right out of you. Literally. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. You didn't see your DNA on the mortgage, did you? And you certainly can't see infrared with these silly little eyes that we have, let alone ultraviolet. X-rays, gamma. When was the last time you had a good close look at DNA without a microscope? That's my point. You can't see DNA, but is it there? Of course it is. So that's what I do. I look for the stuff you can't see. Everything that you can see is way too obvious, don't you think? And yet I have people still trying to find remedy within the legal system. There is but one remedy. Get out. I get lots of questions asking me, what do I do about this and what do I do about that? And I said, well, you know what? Before I started this path, I had the same question. Any other questions? I don't remember anyone answering them for me. I just went and experienced it. Gee, that water looks really cold, Kate. Well, jump in. As it turns out, it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Quite comfortable, almost bath water. No one's going to take you by the hand. I'll most certainly give people a hand up any day of the week, and I'll even help them dust themselves off. And then I'll say, you ready? Yep, let's go. And we march in lockstep. The instant I feel anyone or anything tugging on my skirt hem or asking me about mitten strings, I'm going to run you through with the truth sword. The Vorpal is going to cut you really, really deep. I'm not going to be gentle about it either. Not that I have been. I used to be. I used to be a whole lot more gentle about this, but sorry. When you understand how close this game is, there is an elevated sense of urgency. I'm not talking about some religious rapture or whatever. It's just a twinkling of an eye coming, boys and girls. Because this whole notion of, quote, rapture, unquote, is a one-by-one affair. This is not about mass saviors, like silly Christians think or whatever. On the day of rapture. On the day of rapture. Yeah, you're going to get preyed on, Prometheus. They'll be ripping the liver right out of you. Liver, well, life, right? Yeah, that's a good plan. Let's do that, huh? Hey, everybody, come on, let's go to Mount Olympus. I hear Prometheus is getting his liver ripped out again today. Let's go hang out with him. Okay, and then all the lemmings, after jumping off the cliff, go climbing up Mount Olympus. Yeah. Olympus, indeed. How about you grow a pair? How about you stand up, not being so limp? Right? That's the other movie I wanted to grab, The Incredible Mr. Limpet. That's why I had to think of that. It's perfect. Keeps coming back in full circle. Ties you up in Don knots, right? It's funny as hell. Anyway, that being said, guys, you have within you all the tools you need. Glenda was right. It was in you all along. All you had to do was realize it for yourself. And when you really get the notion that no name, no game at all, and I mean, when you really get that notion, miracles happen. This is where the helpers show up. This is where you tip the scales. I have to go back to A Winter's Tale. I'll rewatch that again, too, because I only saw it the once, and I like to watch something 3 or 4 times just to really pick up on the subtle stuff that's hanging around in the background and, tie a few more threads together, but definitely one I want to watch again. A very telling little story, I will assure you. But anyway, enough about you. Let's talk about me for a minute. Oh my God, got the powerhouses showing up here. All right, Michael, Paul, Darren. Guess I'm going to sit back for a little bit and let you guys have some fun.
Wonderful. Brother. Oh, Michael. Wonderful. Give her a go.
Yeah. Hey, I meant to share a couple of jokes at the beginning. Hopefully I can remember. I remember the one. I forget what the other one was. I have to go back to the scoop room. Anyway, what's the difference between a good cop and a bad cop? The sellout price.
Cheap like the budgie.
Yeah, which effectively says there are no good cops because they all sell out. Every one of them that takes a paycheck is selling out. Now, they may not be aware of it, so there's a little bit of that ignorance thing going on. So I'll cut a little slack on that one. But let me tell every cop out there, you're committing pure fraud, pure premeditated murder with intent to kill somebody in a state of death, legally. And you want to call it, there's no such thing as good cop, bad cop. The bad cop, well, he's the obvious one. It's the good cop you got to watch for because that's the tricky fucker.
Hey. And yeah. I'd like to be gentle on him, but it's not up to me. And as the rule of law says, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So
just like to keep away from them, Darren. Just keep well away from the police. Like, do you know what I mean? Give them a wide berth. Wide berth, as we would do.
No, they give me a wide berth.
Oh, definitely. You keep give a wee slap, but
no, but
I get that. It's just a hassly.
Well, no, so. Well, that's why they give me a wide berth, because I'm too much of a hassle for them.
Exactly.
And they stay away from me because they know I'll educate their asses.
Well, I'm just getting started with a lot of the freeman stuff. Well, no freeman stuff. This stuff, do you know what I mean? As I was never interested in the freeman stuff, like. But yeah, I've always thought that when you start to look at some of the stuff they get up to is kind of dubious, to say the least. You know, especially in Britain. Funny Masonic police fraternities. You know, I've heard a couple of stories. People going into pubs and then getting a bit of a beating and then getting arrested. Do you know what I'm saying? And basically charged and all sorts for just walking into a pub and having a pint, a couple of masons. The police force getting lied, or you're getting a beating. Get their brothers to go taking them to the police station. And you've got a charge. Do you know? So it's like, you keep away from certain pubs.
Well, that's the intent of the beer.
That's exactly the pub I want to go drinking at.
See, that's the pubs
I'll come with you, we'll dance.
That's the pubs I like drinking at, do you know, but when you're the only one in there, do you know, giving them a bit of jip, as you would say, do you know, it's like sometimes you need to cut your losses and take to your heels sometimes, do you know.
Well, no, I totally get it. But see, that's the difference of what I'm talking about. Every single night, and it takes you from that even an inkling of it out to let's go play.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Kate. The last time I was out and I had a joint, you know, and I had and I was giving it a bit of Robert Menard and try to think I was the big man, you know. And this older policeman come up to me and says, "Look, your spliff's out, wee man." He says, "You've had a bit of fun the night. You've had a drink, basically. You know what I mean? You've proved your point. Smoking cannabis where we are they would say a common law offence, and they would charge you with breach of the peace." He says, "So fuck off, or I'm going to do you for breach of the peace." So I said, "Fair enough, mate, you know what I mean, I'm not going to argue the case on that, thanks very much," and basically jogged on, as they would say, do you know. But you get that, you know. But
well, see, that's the thing about the oil and water that I talk about here, is I completely dispel the whole free man gimme legal nonsense, and it's such a difficult line for people to cross because they've been so conditioned into doing their thing.
Kate, it was like you were that lad the other night there was saying he wrote he sent a lovely letter back to them, you know, and it was funny. It's good to do these kind of things, but right at the very end he says, you know, my fee schedule, I'll take gold. You know, and I was thinking, you know, they're asking you for nothing, mate. They're asking you for their fee, bullshit money, and it is really nothing. It's paper. And you're saying, right? In a way, I kind of looked at it. He was kind of saying, I'll spiritually agree to your terms for gold. Do you know? And it's like,
well, yeah, that's the same as what's the difference between a free man and someone who is free?
Yeah, because you're not free.
The sellout price.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. Hang on a sec, Darren. Paul, 1 sec. Let me just drive this point home, because I see a free man no different than I see a cop. If someone is going anyone that's going after anything in the system, I want a fee schedule this, and I want gold that, or silver the other. And you know, Constitution says, I don't give a fuck what any of that stuff says. All that's telling me is that you're still so spiritually immature that you don't see beyond the physical plane, that you will be just like them and sell yourself out. Well, X number of bits of gold will make it okay for you to do this to me. And that's what you're saying, is you're putting a price on harm. If it's like when people sue somebody, okay? Well, so-and-so did this and it damaged my property and that and the other and blah, 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 and I'm, you know, all emotionally distraught about it. And then they turn it into a money thing. Right, where, okay, well, we're going to compensate you with $1.5 million, and then they walk all happy. So apparently that that amount of harm has a price on it. So it only costs that much if somebody else wants to do that to somebody else. What the hell have you solved? What you've said is you've put a limitation on truth. It is not okay. There is no price that can ever be paid to compensate for a harm. The only price that can match that is the one that the one that harmed must experience it completely, identically the same way. That's the only time that energy gets paid in full. That's what I talk about the cab going on. That's the cab going off the main road because you doing your own thing, right? The meter starts running at that point, and you will not get back to the Interstate 60 until you've paid the ferryman. So look what we do. We put prices on the harms. So and so was killed in a car accident, and the insurance company paid them $5 million. Oh, okay. So I'm sure the family's happy getting all that money, but they also told me exactly what the family member was worth. Wrongful death. Anybody that files for a wrongful death is the lowest form of scum. At the bottom of the scum, in the scummiest cesspit I can find, because they're putting a value on a family member. And of course, you're going to go, oh, but. Don't worry. See, that's O ye of little faith. You think that the universe isn't going to balance that out, and that somehow, in your egotistic arrogance, you're going to take care of natural law. Let nature take its course, baby. And the more you step away from letting nature take its course, the longer it takes, and the more drains you get. So how about you just let it go? So mote it be.
So more to be.
Aloha, Kate. Aloha.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Yeah, wonderful.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, man. This is beautiful. Beautiful. When we can really, in one way, remember, see, and feel the hearts of each other, you get out of this fear-based reality.
If you listen to Savan last night, he kind of explained a lot of the Gnostic, your religious kind of whatever you want to call it last night connotations. You know what I mean? There is serious ramifications for contracts. Do you know what I mean? Jesus even said himself, never swear oaths. I mean, you're signing things. Is that not an oath? These are binding oaths, are they not? These are people you shouldn't go. You know.
Paul, could you cover some of that Samuel stuff that we were talking about earlier today? Because this will help connect a lot of things that Savan was talking about last night. If you could, that would be awesome. Yeah,
no bother, Kate. Well, with Samuel, what Savan was talking about last night, Samuel, or Samkel, as the Jewish traditions would call him, they say the Satan takes on a physical manifestation. You know, when you start to, like Savan was talking about last night, you start to look into that, he has other names. He gets called Yalta-Boaf, or usually he's called Ignorant One. And the reference in the Torah was he didn't want to give Moses the Torah, which is known as the law. And this is why we're all bound by law. So you can look at it all you want. This is all go back to Moses and Abraham, religious stuff. No matter where it is, because it's like he was explaining last night. He was talking about these archon energies. Well, a lot of people, it depends on how you've been brought up, Kate. You know what I mean? A lot of people will watch, like, it'll be sci-fi, a lot of sci-fi stuff, video games. That's quite actually interesting when you were talking about earlier there, Kate, about the four-letter name, the pentagrammaton, or the tetragrammaton, the four-letter name. But it's also known as Metatron sometimes, to do with Metatron, but that's known as the four-letter name. And what they're doing is, with these four letters, they're adding an extra letter, as I was saying, during the week. They're adding extra letters to try and find God's name. So, through all of this, they've decided to create oaths, contracts. When you start to look at that, what you were talking about earlier, Kate, in Holland, well, if the Freemen type, instead of reading this, decided to read their history, because you know, there's a lot of people go with John Harris and stuff like that, and John Harris never did his own research. He never read. He just listened to people, do you know? And they, all right, I'll take that, and that's because he could basically, as Kate says, he could see with his ears and hear with his eyes, do you know? But he never done his own research, you know, and there was a lot of people giving him stuff, and it was like books and stuff, you know. No, nothing to do with that. Like there was some cop gave him stuff and says, look into the history. So I looked into the history, and when you look at the Dutch-British connections in the 16th century, if you free men want to start looking at that, 1690, the Bank of England, 1694, I think, yeah, okay, 1694, Bank of England founded.
Yeah, 1694.
Yeah, if anybody wants to go and see when the Masons basically contracted with, because it was a man named William Patterson, I've actually got it upstairs. I'll have to go up and dig it out. A lot of the history to do with that. But in the 16th century, there was three Dutch wars. England fought. Well, you know, it was Britain then. Britain fought with Holland over. It was basically over rules of the sea. Do you know? Because there was two trading companies. Anybody can go and watch Pirates of the Caribbean and see this. You know, he's got the tattoo. What's his tattoo he's got again? He's got a tattoo or a bum mark to do with the Dutch East India Company. Well, there was a Dutch East India Company. Yeah, okay, you know the Dutch East India Company, the British East India Company. Well, they two went to war, and eventually, through certain circumstances, and that's how William of Orange became King of England. Nothing to do with. They got us all thinking over religion. Yeah, this is religious psychosis, Kate. People get tricked through religion. That's how you were saying earlier. That's how these people make money. As you see people like John Hagee and that Joel Austin in America, they say plant a seed. Plant a seed. You know, that's how they do this, Kate. You know, it's very sneaky. And they say what will happen is if you plant this seed, God will give you it back tenfold. You know. And these are real seeds. These are seeds of knowledge. And these people are wanting seeds of money, fiat money. And you see some of these fat creeps. Do you know that John Hagee is a fat creep? He's an odious man, you know. And then, sorry, I'm getting a bit out of hang me, but when you start to look at this is how Britain became Britain. It was a Masonic business-like fraternity that came up out of the Dutch and the British stopping fighting, basically. This is basic history, anybody. You can go and look this up. If anybody wants to argue the case of this, do your research. The history's there. It just takes a few, and I got this for a basic Oxford history book, you know, just a wee bit of mapping.
Oh, absolutely, Paul. I just want to touch back on something you mentioned there, as you were talking about Metatron.
Yeah.
And let's connect the dots here, all right? Metatron was the name that was given to Enoch. And I'm going to tell you who Enoch is. It's in his name, okay? If you looked at it, you'd see it right away, but you got to see it with your ears. So if Enoch is Metatron, and, well, of course, you know, I read a little bit about Enoch and him being displeased and wanting a little vengeance, which doesn't sound like a very loving soul to me at all. But look at the name, E-no-ki, or E-no-ka. Enoch, E meaning consciousness. No, yeah, devoid of, and ka, which is spirit, or ki, which is life.
Yeah. So
consciousness devoid of life. And that should tell you everything you need to know about those that are of the system. They are consciousness devoid of spirit, devoid of life. They are merely aware of being aware and haven't got a fucking clue as to why.
Yeah, okay. Well, if anybody doesn't want to argue the case in words, well, go and look up the book like the Sefer Yetzirah, as I said earlier. It states in that, Kate, that the whole universe. This is how Abraham said it. And if Abraham said it, this is every other. You go and look at Hermetic stuff. Toph a lot, because they say that Toph was Abraham's grandson. That's speculation, no, Kate. And they all speak of cubical spaces, you know. And then they speak the freeway path always comes from these cubical spaces. Take it, do you know what I'm saying? And then when you start to look into, like, say, Abraham, and as you were saying, the tetragrammaton, that was also referred to by Robert Flood as Jesus. They called him the Metatron. When you look at the hierarchy of angels, Jesus...
Yeah, let's look at that.
Yeah, when you look at the hierarchy of angels, Michael, when you look at the hierarchy of angels, they say that Jesus was...
books.
Yeah,
well, okay, guys, breathe. You're jumping all over each other. So
sorry, man. Well,
no, it's all good. So, I get it. I just want
share with me because you guys have done the research. You've done the research and you got the experience, and sometimes it's matching it up. So this Metatron character that we know of through Christian talk, it's the voice of God, right? That's who they say this being is. He's the archangel, as you're bringing up. He's the voice. So when we're talking phonetics and sound, here we go. Here's the lead angel, so to say, of the voice, which is Metatron. Mm-hmm. And, well, I just want to share, if you ever meet this guy and how you'll know what this being, this energy, he's a very dense, very heavy, you'll feel him that way. Really dense energy. And I don't know how this relates to other stories, but mostly what I'm tuning into, and I used to have friends with channel Metatron, and he'd be giving me messages, and I'd be like, yeah, all right, and next, So a lot of those times, like Kate you shares with us, sometimes don't trust any source. You trust yourself first, then you can confirm.
Well, actually, Michael, when you start to read, and it's actually quite easy to I'll say te, we say te, that means two. It's actually quite easy to, if you want to call conjure. If you look at certain documents, like by Robert Flood, he says basically the name would be the YHVH, like Kate was saying, the pentagrammaton. Well, that would be the YHVH. But what they would do is they would stick the Hebrew letter shin in the centre. So it would be the YH shin VH, and that would create the letter Yeshuvah or Yeshuvav, to be precise, and that's how you get the Hebrew Jesus. Well, that became the Greek Jesus because of the Greeks like to put an S on everything at the end if it was male.
These are like literally curses.
Yeah. This is, well, as I was going back to the Sefer Yetzirah, it states that God created everything through three things. It was called by the letter, the number, and the oral word. In short words, the spoken word, Michael. It was called Sefer, Sapher, and Sipur. I could go and get these and spell these for you, but I think I've been quite precise in how I'm speaking. But yeah, if you look into Abraham's magic, that's how God created everything. What I say he did is he burst from a single point, and that's how you get the 6 directions. Like that's what that means. What? Sorry, that's what Sivan was speaking about last night with the hypercube. The hypercube's in 6 directions. You get 6 directions. A lot of people think north is above. Well, actually, north's not. North's north. Right. Do you know what I mean? You've got north, south, east, west.
Yeah, here's the important part.
And down, Michael, up and down. Do you know? And then from that single point, what they say is that's where God created everything with the Hebrew letters. Because when you look at Hermetic teachings, like Kate was saying with Toph, the Tetragrammaton, the Pentagrammaton, these words come up quite a bit. These come up words, and a lot of people don't know what it means. Like the Pentagrammaton, okay? And grammar. What's grammar? What we're doing right now, Michael, is grammar. We're sitting here at the table having a powwow, mate, having a chit chat. You know what I mean? And that's how that's what's it. But when you start to look at these archonic energies, this is what I was want to get back to, Kate. Is when you look at these archonic energies, Michael. Like, no matter what you want to call them, demons. People have seen angels, demons, ghosts, aliens. There's never any verbal communication. Never any. There's always seems to be what I would say is it's telepathic. And I've always thought that kind of strange. If these were so-called super beings, what vocal cords, it's hearing. Obviously, they must have the ability to hear, but why have they not got the ability to speak? As the Hebrews would say, sapur. And when you start to look into a lot of the Hebrew side of things to do with Abraham, that's like I was trying to say the other night. Abraham taught women as well, and he sent them everywhere. And that's how a lot of people get their Brahmic faiths. Thousands of years ago. Actually, the Brahmic faiths, when you start to look at these things, the talk of triads, you've got the three main, that's a triad. The top triad. When you see Masonic aprons, the top, like they've got a top pyramid, Michael, that refers to the triad, that refers to the Holy Trinity. What people would bless themselves and say, in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Trinity. And the Holy Trinity, if I could actually dig this out, take 2 seconds, is actually referring to the Kabbalistic tree of life. And a lot of people don't even know this. When they talk of seraphim, in the Bible, Michael, have you heard of seraphim? Cherubim. Well, the seraphim's actually a reference to the Sephiroth, or the Sephira.
Yep.
This is in video games. People go out and play video games. There's young kids out there playing video games, and there's Kabbalistic names. Like there's people in it called Netzach, and Malkuth, and Yesod, and Hod, and Tipreth, and Chesad, or Chesod, Gebura. And they don't realise this is referring to a Kabbalistic thing. And this is everywhere. And then, sorry, I'll go back to the top triad. That would be Kepha, Chokma, Bina.
Yep.
And that's the reference to basically the Ein Sof, which is, if I explained that, I would be like a Savan. It would take a while to explain the Ein Sof. But I'll just a quick explain Chokma, and Bina. That people would say would be the Yahweh, or it's people would say it was Baphomet, it was a male and female. But that's what people don't realise, that the real God's boundless. The real one who did all of this isn't what people think. He's not looking to go judging you. He's looking for a brother. He's lonely type thing, And a lot of people, you think this is kind of serious stuff when you start to read Kabbalistic texts. And a lot of these are old, but they're not so old if you start to read people like Arya Kaplan, or Aryan Kaplan, and who's quite a wise man, and who got quite a lot of stick, you could say, from the Jewish peoples, because he was releasing stuff, but they didn't want the Zohar. A lot of people didn't want that, because that was the real Bible code. They released the Bible code first, so everybody got interested, and then they kind of released the Zohar on the sly, if you will, sneakily, hoping. But a lot of rabbis said people are going to start to get this. The people, because they can't not get this. You are a representation in the tree called Daf, which, if you look in certain Hermetic, that would be where the throat is, where your throat, the Torah spool, Daf. And that's your rightful place in heaven. But what they've said is, because of Shekinah, or the Shekinah, we're like her, we're proud, we're very proud, and we need correcting. Ego's a big thing, it's a very big thing. People, and a lot of people hearing me might think I'm very egotistical because I'm telling, explaining some stuff, but it's like, you need to get this out, man, because it's this stuff, look for it, go and look at yourselves, don't believe me, just go and look at yourselves, But when you start to look at this, it's all references to the Kabbalistic tree, which would be, as I said, Malkuth, Yesod, Hod, Netzach, Tipreth, Chesod, Gebura.
Yeah, I'm very familiar
as the Yan of Vav.
Yeah, you know Dion Fortune?
No, I don't know any.
She was in English. Well, I'll call her an English lady.
To be honest, Michael, right?
Today with the Golden Dawn and all these guys, and thankfully I came to her. In my research about the Kabbalah and stuff, it was the mystical Kabbalah with the Q, by Dion Fortune, or how you want to say her name. And this woman has just really opened my eyes to so much. But also what it helped me to do is not get stuck. in that old system.
Guys, can you maybe leave a little breathing room, because so I can actually jump in. And I just had a couple of callers that, well, I got Richie coming in now, but I had a couple that I had opened up and they have since departed. So anyway, one I was just about to open up and they left. So just keep that in mind, guys. So I just want to do a little shout out here at the top of the hour, just to keep people remembering that it is actually a radio show and everything. Sorry, protocols. Kind of keeping it civil here, that's all. You're listening to criticalmassradio.co.uk. For those that want to call in, you can call in at 661-467-2401. And, of course, you can Skype in at on the Blog Talk Radio page. And just going to see if anyone has posted the BTR listener number. You guys, one of you guys probably knows what that is. You called it.
22.
BTR listener 022 is tonight's BTR call-in. So if you want to put that in your contact or search part and search for it and just right-click it and hit call, and that'll bring you right to the table. Easy peasy. So that being said, yeah, just be mindful, guys, because I know it can get really going, but there are others at the table, so I just want to make sure that everyone's coming in. Or at least getting their say, because you never know what's going to come into the table to change the direction of where we need to be. Anyway, Richie, you're in here as well, so I'm just kind of letting you guys take it from here, and I'm really doing my best to sit back as much as I can now. Okay, so take her away.
All right. Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, aloha, Richie.
Hey,
yeah, go on.
I just want to say real quick, though, Mike, for Saban, yeah, like Paul just said, there's two things I want to say. Paul, yeah, he commented on Saban being able to communicate with it. That guy, wow. You know, one's tuning in. That guy, we need him. You know, that's a fact. Stuff he's saying. That's the thing, is being able to hear that stuff and then being able to communicate it. You know,
well, Richie, I argue that. No, we already have Savan. You already have me. We need you.
Oh yeah.
That's how I see it.
Well,
right? No, I put it in the mirror.
What I'm saying, you and me, yeah, we're all interconnected here. Yeah, but
so
what I'm doing
clear. It's not a communication. It's trusting.
Well, like I do with Kate. Well, we all have it inside of us. Kate, being able to express it, because you know it lifts me up. It's like, yeah, there's my brothers. There's the ones that are getting it. They're the ones that are working, that are seeking. You know, I can hear them. They are my brothers. They're seeking. They're asking. They're finding, and they're giving. You know, they're raising that frequency to a whole nother level. And same thing with you, Paul. And to be honest, my frequencies, when I first heard your voice speaking, I had a hard time understanding you, but I'm adjusting and tuning in, and I can hear you, like, clearly now. So, and what you're saying as well, Paul, is awesome. It really is. It's awesome. And I just wanted to, you know.
Yeah, something I want to add to that, Richie, because you are bringing up some valid points here. There's only one tolerable answer for any question that I answer, and it's okay, which means you're going to have a look at it. And there's only one qualified statement that anyone can make after reviewing what many of us are doing, as Savan was saying, you know, running the front lines here. There's only one statement that you need to get familiar with, and I'm saying this to all. I can do that. Don't stand back. And I'm telling this to everybody because this is a common theme on my Facebook and Skype, everywhere. Don't look back or sit back and wait for people like me or Savan or anybody else for that matter to do it for you. The only question or the only statement that you need to make from that point forward is, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's where I love having my favorite joke. Right? Hey, you know, come on, all you big tough men, get out there and stand. I'm only half the man you are. And I did it. Unless you want to be trumped by a tranny. That should poke a few egos. And that's really it. It's not about strength, it's about peace. It's about seeing far and beyond. But really, again, this is why I'm so adamant about any form of pedestal for anyone like myself or Savan or anyone. It doesn't matter to me. This is exactly what we're trying to take down, because when there is that pedestal, it has created a hierarchy. I'm here to destroy the hieroglyphs, the hierarchy. Okay, I'm here to destroy that. This table is flat, level, perfect magnetic plane of creation source, and anything that even wants to rock that is going to get its knuckles wrapped, because I'm tired of people making more of themselves than they should and less of themselves than they should, instead of seeing it where it needs to be, right dead center, right in the middle, completely neutral. And yeah, I can get that. I can agree with that. I'm going to do it. And it really is that simple.
And we don't need accolades with it. We don't need accolades.
Absolutely.
Those false accolades, those false...
Yeah.
I tell you, Richie, you take away from yourself every time you give the kudos away to another. When you give it outright. Yes, gratitude is great. Gratitude is awesome. It's the highest form of love. But I got to tell you, I tell you, dude, you are burning your own battery. You're going to fry your fucking ass, because we're coming into the time when you're holding that energy, you're going to fry your fucking ass.
Are you saying I'm going to fry my ass?
Well, anyone that's caught... Hang on, anyone that's caught in that paradigm, again, third party table, okay? And listen, and if it resonated with you, then have a look at it.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And Darren is exactly right. It's just not about, there's nothing wrong with, hey, awesome, and acknowledgement for what we all do, because the truth of the matter is you are perfect in every way, shape, or form. Totally not needing that.
Right.
That's the joke. So for me, I just simply accept you as perfect and go, yeah. Excellent. Can
I say, Kate, actually, what I think Darren was trying to say, Rich, is you're it, mate. You're the one. When you start to, you're listening to Sylvan, go and start to look for yourself, brother. See, when you get those aha moments, we go, like I was sitting the other day there and I was listening to a bit of Bob, and Bob was saying, the stone that the builder refused will always be the head cornerstone. That's referring to the Shekinah. See what I'm saying? Look for your wee aha moments, brother, what make you go, oh, hi, because you're the one, brother. You know what I mean? It's on your head. You just need to start seeing that it's referencing you as well. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say that too last night. The cornerstone, right? The stone that Jesus rejected, right, was the cornerstone. That's vital.
Well,
and
Jesus
the thing
is the cornerstone, mate. If you want to look at it allegorical, Jesus is the cornerstone. Jesus wasn't what a lot of people think. If you look at it, the Hebrews had Jesus, or the Jewish people had Jesus killed because he was revealing all their secrets, and then the Romans found out all the Jewish secrets and then killed all the Jews. That's basically what's happened, Michael. Start to look for your aha moments, brother, and you go, oh, I see what these sneaky people are up to. And you go, yeah, man, you can't stand it. And then they stick people like Alex Jones out there who, who brings it back to politics and gold back money. We should see some form of a democracy, but the democracy is in the mind, mate. You need to correct yourself, brother. This isn't about you correcting everybody in the street who stays in your neighbourhood who's crazy. This is about pointing things out to them. Like I said to Kate, sometimes if you need to get a bit meat sticky, if you need to get a bit, like Kate was laying down the law tonight, if you need to lay down the law sometimes and point things out, literal, Rich, and go into literal terms, so people go like, if you go, to talk about sovereigns or whatever, all that type of carries on. Go for it, Mike. That's what I'm saying. Go and watch. Don't go getting polarised with other people. See yourself right. Sivan was talking about such and such last night. Like I said, Robert Flood. That's how I did it. I went and listened to Bill Cooper and a couple of other people. No, nobody else. A guy called Vife, who was nuts. This guy's nuts. A guy called Professor Vife, nuts, really nuts. A Seventh-day Adventist who's basically at war with the Catholic Church. And he basically broke down the allegories for me to do with Catholicism and the Masonic fraternity, which is called Loyola. I don't care what anybody says. Loyola walked into the Catholic Church like a Masonic. That's like a Masonic slap about when you join a temple. He walked in with one of his left legs over his knees. He walked in with a blindfold on, right? And within an hour and a half, he had his own order. And in the Masonic fraternity, that signifies with the blindfold when you're beaten up and all that is you're basically scum, and we're taking you in. And then when they take the blindfold off after they've done their funny ceremony, remember ceremony, Catholic Church ceremony, eating the consumption of Jesus. Do you know? Consumption of Jesus, all ceremony. Sanso Spinazzi broke this down for you a good bit. Do you know what I mean? It's all ceremony. Ceremony's magic. And then you go back to what the Masons are doing. They're slapping you about, and then they're taking the blindfold off. Like Kate's saying, roll. What does roll mean again, Kate? Explain it again to the people so they hear.
Oh, the sound of row?
Roll, spirit breath.
Spirit breath, and again, Roman law. Start looking. Look, see, that's why I want to do a little key for certain sounds, but I have to keep drilling this home. People are so caught in only the spelling, right? They're not listening. They're not hearing the word with their eyes, right? It's like I said earlier, Enoch. Oh, okay, Enoch. Well, it could mean no knock, as in someone's not knocking on your door. I also reference back to the 4 knocks, and there's your 4, as in to do something for, right? 4 knocks. That is the north of Newgrange in Ireland. It's dedicated to Cygnus, the divine feminine, right? The swan constellation. But Enoch, Enoka, Enochi, Enoki, 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 Anunnaki, Enoki, right? So don't take the letters literal, because they have multiple sounds. If a letter has, what did I put in my note today? And it was just a simple little note, and I thought it was so profound. The instant a tone or a sound, this to me is how Babylon split our languages. The instant a tone or a sound had more than one meaning, the language was corrupted. One sound, one meaning, one picture, one truth. And this was the corruption of Babylon the Fallen. As soon as a sound had a different intention in it, that to me was where duality, that's where the lie came in. It's like saying if the word rose only meant that flower and nothing else, that sound was dedicated to that shape. If somebody came in and said it meant something else, then now that truth of that word is corrupted. It's been cut too. Now it's got to, well, what do you mean? Do you mean the rose or the rose, or the spirit breath of creation itself? So dwell on that for a little bit. Start seeing and hearing language from a sound perspective instead of the sigil, squiggles, letters, and numbers. Okay? And it really, it will separate things for you. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, Kate, and that's exactly what it is. And that's what I've recognized. That's exactly what's going on an unconscious level. Is I'm narrowing the sound of my consciousness. That's exactly what I'm doing. And I can in times interpret things in a different way if the person's intent and sound is being directed towards whatever that intent is. So that's the thing, is I think what might have just happened a little while ago is that what I was saying was being misinterpreted, as I continue to say that what Paul was saying is that he said, you might think I might be a little egotistical or something, saying what I'm saying, right? Well, that's what the ego wants to do. It wants to reflect you back into that position, into that lower state, to be under the stand, under the balcony, where we're coming in and tearing that fucking balcony down. That's what the fuck we're doing. And there's no fucking ifs, ands, or buts about it. And anybody that uses ifs, ands, and buts about it, you can go fucking out and take a long walk up a short pier.
Exactly. We hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. So let me finish. Same thing. Savan came on here, said the same thing. He felt an uneasiness and uncomfortableness coming on because of that fucking ego who thinks that it's above where it's below. So fucking low, They're gonna need a friggin' steam shovel to come in to get them the fuck out of their shit. So when us beings are coming in here, we're recognizing each other. And any reflection of any fucking bullshit ego that comes in trying to sever his voice, Kate's voice, my voice, and any other voice whose path is on the true fucking seeking for truth, you can go fucking kick rocks. You can go take a long walk off that short pier, and I don't give a fuck how far you sink down. You're going to be the one that's going to be fucking crying and asking for help to get out of your fucking suffering. That's what we're doing at this table, you know? So if you're misinterpreting me, Darren, and anyone's sitting at this table and thinking that I'm above anybody else, you're fucking damn right I'm above that fucking ego. And I'll stand and hold that light strong for our brothers to fucking make their way back into who they are. So don't fucking make any mistakes about who I am or any of my brothers that are walking that path.
I don't think that was the issue at all, but okay.
No, that wasn't the issue, Rich, mate. That wasn't the issue. He was just saying you need to find yourself, mate.
That's all.
Do you know what I'm saying? Get your center point. Kate says get deep, get dark, get quiet, mate. Find your center point.
See, this is the problem. This can be the problem with misinterpretation, right? And again, it's about intent. You see, one of the hardest things that I've had to endure, and it really has been an endurance, is daring to challenge an ego, knowing full well it's a program, it's not the individual. I know this, okay? So it makes it easier, but it doesn't make it any more comfortable, okay? When the ego gets challenged, it immediately goes into a loop. And this is why I am so adamant about pedestals and any form of what would be deemed praise over and above oneself. We do this together. I have a very particular piece, as does everyone else, that is no greater or lesser than anyone else's. This is how we get neutral on it, and this is how we deliver the goods. There's no emotion in this at all, not one little bit. And if emotion ever does enter into the equation, then that's something that needs to be looked at as to what is still triggering remnants of a program that's allowing it to come back in. And only when you fully separate yourself from this hierarchy mentality, this caste system, and everyone is programmed into it very, very deeply, and it's reinforced daily. I mean, hell, as soon as you turn the TV on, there's a hierarchy of superstars and anchor women and men, and, you know, this elevated aspect of society. Go into a bank. Well, there you go. You get a teller all the way up to a bank manager, right? It's all about hierarchy. So this is presented to us day in and day out in everything we look at, everything we experience, and everything we do. So it's, for me, the most insidious aspect of the program that keeps people looking either down their noses at others or up to someone that they think rules them. And there's nothing more defaming to me than someone doing that to me. Because if someone is going to make less, if someone is going to make less of themselves or more of themselves than me, sorry, that's separate from me. I don't want anything to do with that, right? So that was the point that Darren was putting across. I talked to him quite a bit about that a little while back. So, no, it's all good. It's all good. And don't ever take anything personal at this table. Ever. Ever.
Rich, can I ask you, Rich, are you there?
Yeah, Richie's there.
Rich, man, give me your best Scottish accent.
Hello, Richie. Did you mute out on your end? Are you there? Line's open. Unless he's muted out and talking. Hey, we've got 9... Oh, 1 sec. I'm just going to say I got 905 open as well. I do believe that's Michael.
Hello.
Did I get it right?
That's fine. I think your show is very nice tonight.
Oh, we're trying.
But I want to just say something about the intent of all the words are all the same, and that is somehow someone wants to contract with you. It's very simple. Just on and for the record, I forbid you from contracting with me. Is all you have to say. You tell the other entity from contracting with me, and that's the end of the story.
Well, see, I wouldn't even say forbid because I'm not up for bid. What I just say is no.
Don't forget.
Just now.
You said it yourself, Kate. you don't take someone else's intent of their words. I have my own intent on that word, and I'm free to have my own. Well,
okay. Now, Mike, just to in your defense and mine, of course, I'm going to make you right. What is important for people to see is that other side of that word that they probably never heard before. If you forbid something, well, if you go to the auction, you're there forbidding, aren't you? So again, I'm constantly trying to show the duality in the words that would actually, by using that word unknowingly in ignorance, you would actually be saying, I'm bidding on it. It's an energy.
Who's doing the bidding?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's trapped in the word. It's a concept. It's a hidden meaning contained within the word, and all I'm trying to do is expose that little hidden meaning. The literal, for me, if we just
what I'm trying to say is the word is irrelevant. It's your intent.
It's not irrelevant. It's not irrelevant. It is the most relevant thing going. That's what creates reality. This is why I focus on it. It is the most relevant thing in creation that we have taken for granted.
How would you say the same thing?
Well, no,
you want someone.
See, Michael, you think I made you wrong. I was just showing another. Hang on. I was just showing another side of that coin. I just thought it was an interesting word to jump on. That's all.
Okay. All right. I'm not trying to be combative.
No, it's okay. Energies are a bit hot tonight. It's all good.
Their whole intent is to make a contract with you. Doesn't matter what words they use, what contract they're trying to offer. You can just simply say, I don't want you to ever contract with me.
Well, see, here's another concept in that. Even the mere notion of accepting going into having a conversation with someone is contract. It's like, I'll go back to March 14th. Yeah, I have no issues going into conversation with an individual I know that cannot contract with me. And if they pursue it, they will contract and it will destroy them. It's a full mirror. So even the notion of saying, if you pick up the phone to call someone and they answer, you're in contract because there was an intention and an agreement to pick up the phone. That's why, debt collectors and all the rest of it, they have the contract as soon as you answer the phone. They have the contract as soon as you get a phone number. Because that phone number, if it's in a public book, says anybody and everyone can call you. See, I make it very, very clear. What's that?
So any contract I want any time. They have
I realize that.
Power.
I realize that.
I don't accept their consent. Right?
All I'm trying to show are the subtleties of contract. You're absolutely right. I'm just making you more right. Is that okay?
Yeah. I just wanted to share that with everyone because...
And I'm grateful because I'm able to make you more and more right so that you can see deeper and deeper. This is the joy of this. Not one individual is going to make a mistake at this table.
Yeah, the other thing I want to mention, you said something earlier in the evening, and you got to understand, too, that all of humanity has been under a pyramidal type society for thousands of years. It's very difficult for people to think of a society in a holographic term, where everything is exactly the same. There's no top, there's no bottom, and that's a hard concept to get people to grasp.
Right. That's why this table exists, for those that do grasp that and show up here to go, yeah, we get it. So you're absolutely right. The vastness. That's why I tell people, don't get caught up in the literal dramas trying to convince somebody of anything. Plant the seed, walk away, because the spirit will hear you, and you can beat yourself up if you want, hanging out with them and let their shitty energy just pound you into pulp, because they'll outnumber you, right?
How much did you pay for the universe? Can I see your receipt for it?
Yeah, it's like. So again, this is about. Pick a fight, expect a fight. So if you're going to, and I say that in very non-literal terms. It's just the concept of, pick a contract, you're in a contract, right? So for me, it's about seeing the subtleties, the very, very subtle things that have been hidden for so long, like in the word forbid, or in the fact that if you get into a conversation, you're actually in contract because you've agreed to communicate and let that other individual into your universe, right? That's why the rule is silence is golden. There is no contract in silence. Only with you.
Hey, What's your opinion on these blood moon tetrads coming up? Since you're
I think
merit to it?
I think they're very telling, but see, here's the thing: we have better tools now to observe these things, not from such a literal perspective, where someone's going to say, well, on this blood moon, such and such a thing happened, so it's going to happen again. I just look at it and go, no, not this time. Sorry, I'll take that one. Appreciate it. Because I know who I am. And those that do know who they are know they wield that kind of power. And it's got to be wielded from a very neutral, very benevolent position. Right? So there are, if you want to look at it literally, it's a very fascinating literal story, and if you look at it allegorically, then you can start changing things around. Again, it's like looking at a headline. If you read it literally, you create it literally. Where I'll take something, and because I can flip the word backwards, I can actually inverse the literal meaning of it and put my thought creation into the reality, and I watch the world change every time I do that. I should do more of it.
I look at like fish in an aquarium. If you add anything to that water, there's no escape for them. And I think our whole solar system goes through multi-thousand-year cycles, and we move into different areas of the galaxy, and it affects the human race. And like the fish in an aquarium, we can't escape it. This age of awakening is a foregone conclusion for me. There'll be some kicks and scratching by the elite to hold on to their fictional system. But I think it's going to fall in the end, because we're moving into a place in the galaxy where we're getting more, magnetic field, more photon energy, whatever it is. But there's an up cycle and a down cycle, and we're going into a different cycle, and you can feel it all around the world.
For sure. And the one thing that if one is at complete effect, one simply accepts what one is taught literally. I think that's a fairly fair assumption. So I don't accept anything literal anymore. Yes, I understand what the stars and the zodiac and all the rest of that is in a literal sense if I'm going to read my horoscope and that's going to determine my day. Well, I'll tell you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my stars so that, and I mean that quite literally, the path that we are on is completely changeable.
We cannot control where we are in the galaxy.
Oh, yeah, we can. That's the illusion.
An environment to make us think and act differently, because we're the fish in the aquarium. We have no control over it.
I have all the control over it. You see, that's the paradigm of the fish tank. You see, and this has been the one thing that has been so hard to get across to people, whether they're terrified of their own power. I know I was for a long time. I still am, but not to the same degree I used to be. But I don't buy the literal. When I said I forgot, I removed everything I've ever been taught, I meant it.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking the paradigm of the past was because we were in a zone in the galaxy where we weren't getting the necessary frequencies of energy magnetically or photonically, and now we're physically moving into that area, and all of a sudden we're realizing that we're gods. And,
okay, well here's an analogy for you. Imagine you.
Okay.
Let's play good and evil in the same car, just for shits and giggles. Okay. So you, the good, are driving the car down the highway. Evil is sitting beside you, who's got their hands on the wheel, and they're screaming in your ear, distracting you, and spitting on you and everything else. So your hands are off the wheel. You're trying to clean yourself. You're looking here, everywhere else, and you're distracted with everything, while that passenger has taken over. That's the ego. Has taken over the helm, and because that can be steered. That's the universe. That's your universe is the car. Until you get your hands back on that wheel, that's what this means to change one's universe. We literally steer the stars. We created them.
Yeah. I used that line on a song once. Who's at the wheel?
Yeah. So, no, you're absolutely right. So I just don't buy into anything that is deemed control, because for me, in an omnipotent, all-creator universe, go ahead, tell me what the limits are. There are none. Anything you can imagine has already been created. All infinite realities of infinite parallel universes have already been created. We're just choosing which one we're playing in. So that's what I talked about, sliding along the lateral timeline into a more benevolent timeline. Because I'll tell you, there are timelines there. You've seen all the movies, alternate universes and all the rest of it. Those are all quite real. It's just which one are you aware of in the now? That's why being in the now is critical, because that way you're finally steering your own timeline.
So when you find yourself stepping out of yourself, looking out of yourself, looking to the prospects of or the possibility of a photon belt that's going to deliver energy, push the pause button.
Most people aren't aware that they're playing dead.
That doesn't matter. Most people isn't you. Until you bend the I into a U and become magnetic electric, man.
Well, a lot of people are beginning to wake up. Once you're awake, you can see how asleep everyone else is. It's like disgusting.
My program says I fucking hate the word awake. It creates a separation between my brothers and sisters. Gives room and space for assholes to come up with the word level instead of being honest with themselves and going, oops. There's no separation until we create it in our heads. So those who are awake or not awake is a definition. Created by whom? Accepted by whom? Delivered to the universe by whom? The three aspects that Paul shared is your gift, brother. I'm not even going to repeat them because I don't need to remember them. They're in my heart. This is the truth. No I. The I am serves you until you get to a point where you realize if you bend that motherfucker, you get the Wile E. Coyote's magnet. And you're going to pull in what you want. You want to see other people awake? Be the example. Smile in the face of their bullshit.
Right.
Shine. Shine. Richie got my goat. Thank you for getting my goat, Richie.
Yeah. You're welcome, brother. And this is the thing, man. No, you're right on track. And this is the thing that needs to be expressed fucking full force, right? That power is in fucking you, right? That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. Darren.
I thought you guys did a wonderful job exchanging goats. I thought that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, it was.
It's great how you talk about. Sorry, I forget, but I know how you talk about feminine, male.
Wait a minute. Let me just say real quick though, Paul, before I forget, because I'm on a roll here. All right, is that right? Anybody that thinks that the power is just in me or just in this one, the guy to the left or the right, you're fucking delusional, and you're not hearing what the fuck it is we're saying. That power is in you. Now write this 1,000 times. Fill your wall with a black magic marker writing that, so when you wake up every fucking morning, you see, me, the power is in me. This is what the fuck we're saying, you see? But see, there are those individuals that have raised that power into them and know that. This is what we're delivering to you to fucking get it, you see? So when you think that when you hear Paul or me or whoever, dealing with your ego, right, reflecting your bullshit, right, back into us, thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't say this. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't express this fucking truth, right? That's only going to help you deliver you out of the bullshit you created.
Richie, man. Joe, brother. Joe, man. You're
I'm on fire. That's all.
No, hang on. Guys.
Rich, you're not firing me. You're just angry now, mate. You're angry.
I'm not angry. Let Kate finish. Let Kate finish.
Okay. I'm gonna mute everybody. Okay, chill. And what I'm gonna ask everyone to do, if they're gonna say the word fuck, they're gonna have to tell me what it means, letter by letter, because I'm still feeling it, and I don't want to feel it because it's not the right intent. It's a pure sound that's being bastardized. So by all means, use it, but I want to know what it means. So I'll remind everyone what it means in the mirror of the sound that was most corrupted. Fa, the heart. You, the intention. There's the magnet to bring it home. What you send out, you bring back. C, the note of unconditional love. And K, Ka, the spirit. So it is the heart with intent of unconditional love through spirits. And check your energies when you're using that, because when I feel it, I know that it has not been defined within you yet. So make it the positive versus the negative. Because you'll attract a lot more.
Yeah, the only time I use that word, Kate, is on this show. When I'm off this phone and walking about, doing my stuff, I don't use that word. And the only reason why I've used it on this show is to the ones that probably do use it for the wrong intent.
By all means, Richie, use it, but I'm going to ask you to neutralize it because I felt every single one of them. I'm asking just for that. It's no problem. This is why I bring
got
it
it,
up.
Kate. You know what, Kate? I won't even ever use that word again.
No, you can use it anytime you want. Just
the remainder.
I bring that back into the loop again just to remind people that these words are just that. And there are intentions contained within them that have been ingrained throughout the entire of society, and it's up to us to be the ones to reverse that. So anytime it's just following along with what the norm is, I just kind of go, no, we got to be the ones to dispel this. That's why I use them. I use them completely neutral. You know, I have no intent contained in them other than the heart of intent of unconditional love through spirit. It's basically my way of saying, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Do I have your attention? I love you. You matter most. That's all. All right. Anyway, no, it was good. We got a bunch of stuff cleared up, and that's exactly what this is for. That's why I tell people, don't ever take this table personally, because the biggest joke for me is the fact that anyone wants to debate with me, I'm not going to make you right anyway. Kind of a waste of time, isn't it? But it's more fun on this side because I love making people right, even when they think that I'm thinking they're wrong, when it's not true at all, because I already know they're right. I'm just making them even more right. Now, I'm going to check on Barbara here to see if her mic will open. We got 20 minutes until we're done here. I'm not going to roll over tonight. Sunday night, just want to kind of chill back for a bit. Weather's actually really getting better here. It's got up to, I think, 14 or 15 degrees Celsius today. But I just want to get Barb's mic open, see if she's there and not playing bingo. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I am, and I'm not playing bingo. I'm listening to you all talking about my favorite word, fuck. I love that word. I love that activity. I was taught that the word fuck means fortification under the king, under the eyes of the king, or fortification under the cause of the king or something. Whatever it was, I sure enjoy that word of activity of two people get together fucking each other. So I really can't take it out of my vocabulary. Even when I stump my toe or something like that, or hit that's the first thing I say, fuck. So, you know, it's a very, this is after.
If you want to hear something, before you go on, just while we're on that one word, for those that want to hear someone use that word in perfect context of neutral energy, listen to the little talk that Osho does on it. And you will laugh, and there is no charge. That's what I'm talking about. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, carry on.
He spells it with P-H. I listened to that show. He spells it P-H-U-C-K, so that you won't get that definition that they gave to me growing up about the fortification. The way that guy that took over your show one night, that's the way he spelled it. And it was so very funny. And he used it quite often. And every time you would hear it, you know, it sounded like it was in its proper content in the way that he used it. You are so correct on that, Kate. I'm studying astrology now because this is New Year in March, and this is Santo's best time of the year, you know, and teaching us how to do this astrology thing. So in this book, along with looking at some of his old tapes and videos about the secrets of the elixir and stuff like that, it ran me into getting this book that my girlfriend had. It's called The New Astrology by a guy named Martin Seymour Smith. And this is what Martin Seymour Smith says about the Gemini. He says that it's a mutable sign, and that they are hot and airy and humid, and then that the Gemini creates the condition in which perfect communication can be achieved. He says the twins love each other, but the danger is in so much as they hate each other because of their love. So there is a disruption in all communication, and that's what he says about you, Gemini. And I study Gemini so much is because some of the profound truths in life came to me through a Gemini. Gemini taught me some lessons in life that I had never had crossed my mind until I met this particular person. Not to think of all the good loving that I've gotten from Gemini through the years. When I first found out what it meant to put your legs up on somebody's shoulder, Gemini showed me why. And I have nothing but positiveness to say about Gemini, but I do know that they will show you the mirror. You know, like, look, I love you, but I can also hate you too.
Mirror, mirror. That's why I tell people, if I can get you to hate me enough to love me, then I can certainly get you to love me enough to hate me. And I don't care what it takes on either side of that infinite pendulum to find you. I will find you, and you will shine, and you will be amazing because I know you are. That's all. It's really simple. It's just funny. I've lost count of how many times I get beat up for trying to show someone how perfect they are. They just don't want to hear it. It's funny. It really is. And I can't even say it's sad. It's not. It's funny. You know, it's like it's the same mirror within the system of people trying to find legal remedy, and there isn't any. And it's like standing there talking to the hangman while you tie your own noose, and then you hand it to the hangman, and he throws it over the tree, and you're still chatting with the hangman and having a great old time, and then the hangman, hands it back to you, and you put it over your own neck, and then hangman hands you the other end to tie it off, and hands you the rope attached to the leg of the chair you're standing on, and gets you to pull the chair out from under yourself. And then as you're hanging there swinging, choking to death, you're screaming at the hangman because it's such an asshole, and you did it to yourself. That's how I see the system. That's what the name is. The name is the hangman's noose, and it's the only thing that's going to keep you swinging from that yard arm. Tell me that's not hilarious. Tell me that's not insane.
Beautiful insanity.
Yeah, it is. It's the glee of insanity. That's what insanity is.
4 words explain the system's job. 4 words. Beautiful insanity, employed apathy. 4 words to work with. 4 words to look at the system as. And if you can see them as the frequency and the words, you will free your emotional body, I swear to goodness. Goodness. Take the time with you, because us and them no longer serves. I got to turn my back. Back in the day, when the originals had this land called Turtle Island to themselves, when someone did wrong, everyone turned their back to them. They had no cops. They had no judges. They were shunned like a dog. And if anybody's ever played with a dog, it's easy to shun a dog. If the behavior continued to a degree that it wasn't being corrected, self-corrected, individuals hiked off with the boys, taken on a great journey. And when they left them, they gave them 2 days' food or so and said, good luck, motherfucker. You didn't want to play with us, so play by yourself. And that's what's happening now, folks. So if you want to say, gotta help them, and hold on to reaching out to fucking do whatever you think you're doing, enjoy. Enjoy it. Because you just hexed your ass. I'm being blunt. It feels good. Yesterday's download with Savon, which was so lovely interrupted. Holy cow, thank you. I know what I was getting. Did listen again, but as the bubbles bounce, downloads got gibberish, but then again, everything happens for a reason, as it is to be. And that's the truth. Look at yourselves. Listen in the playback. Look at any moment in your life and see if you're doing it there too. If anybody ever thinks that they've studied as much as Kate or Siobhan or Paul or Michael, any of the people that have voiced what they've done for us all. I mean, come on. To add anything to Siobhan's work, Kate's work, to add to it, share your point of view. Great. We'll expand upon it. But from your level of thinking, to add to their stuff, I go, ego. Come on. That was ridiculous. Expand upon it. But I'd say, in those moments, affirm upon it. Go, oh, yeah, I felt that. Turn your mic off and scream to God. Scare the shit out of your neighbors. I did.
That's a goodie. I like that.
I was mute. I mute myself because I want to go, yeah. I want to go a-ho, like my brothers here on this land. But I shut the mute down. And all those phones got mute. Don't bullshit me. It's a choice. Remember when you're in class and you had a piece of gum and the teacher said, spit it out, or you have the whole class gum. That was that smart little fucker that showed up with 5 packs. Make sure everybody got a piece or 2. And that's a choice. Because you'll take my gum once. The second time, I make sure everybody's got a piece so that I don't have to worry about you taking my gum twice. Richie got my goat today.
Well, what type of grades did you get in school, Richie, with your gum chewing? What type of grades did you get? Oh, Mike, is this Mike? What type of grades did you get when you was in school chewing that gum? Sir? What type of grades did you get?
The only consistent thing on my report card when I was growing up was if he tried harder, he would be a great student. I would get the D's. I just pass. I just come to hang out, really.
That was that gum. That gum.
Yeah, there's
that
a
gum
great word. Here, let's play with student phonetically. Stewed, as in stewed tomatoes. Ent, as in mind. Tell you anything? Yeah. You never would make a good stewed ent. Darren?
Nope. Never was.
No, there's way too much stir in a pot, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
They asked to leave the class. You want to skip today? Oh, yeah, good idea. Right at the door is my books.
I had so much fun skipping off and never getting caught. It was funny. But anyway, I didn't need to worry about it. I didn't care. Just letting Alvita know that she's in the call. We just have a little under 10 minutes here. Quick shout out to Paul Giovanni and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk. And, of course, thanks to all you guys that not only come to the table but help make this table possible each and every single night, which is so exciting for me. Such a life I have. Can we hurry up and wake up so I don't have to do this anymore, please? Mm-hmm. I would like to play now. Wake up.
Yeah, I want to go dancing with Kate.
Please. Pretty please, somebody. Okay.
Hello.
Is Rich still there, Kate? Is Rich still there?
Yeah,
Richie,
he's still here.
Yeah.
Rich, man, give me your best Scottish accent, brother. Come on.
I'll have to practice.
Nah, come on, I'll give you my best Bostonian. See, Rich, didn't take this to a French, Rich, and get hot-headed, but I love your accent, mate. And every time I hear you talk, I think the movie Jaws. Here to catch a shit. Gotta catch a shit. Bastard. Love it, Rich, mate. Love it.
Hey, Paul.
I like your accent too, man.
Here to catch a shit.
It doesn't sound like Scottish Sweden, though.
Go and say that, Rich. Say that. Gonna catch a shack.
I'm gonna catch a shack and I'm gonna bite his head off.
Oh, yeah, crazy. I'm always trying to do Richie's voice.
Hey.
Boston accent. Hey, everybody.
Hello, Alvita. How are you, sunshine?
Hi. Hey. Beautiful.
Hello, Alvita.
For outing out the Gemini. Shame on you. I know you people. You are so wonderful. I don't fuck with you at times. But you are sweet as you can be times. And that 52 still ain't came, brother. I'm sick of you and your 52. Girl, woman won $1,000 on that 52 the other night. I said, look at Alvira. I call you Elvira so I can sing to you. Elvira. Oh, remember that song from back in the day? So every time I be stuffing you like a soldier. I said, look at that damn 52 for her. But that it works.
It's right now. You bringing that up? It's 8:52 right now. Wow. Oh boy.
Very well done, guys, tonight. Very well done. It was just kind of letting things ride where they were, and it was just a beautiful display of getting things simplified and getting things straight. You know, this is the place. Listen, if you can't look at your own mirror at home, don't worry. This table's a perfect mirror for all of us, me included. So, you know, it's again, this is a game of lighten up, right? That's why I like picking on my own ego, because it had such a grip on me for so long. And when you look back at it, it really is. It's quite funny. And
very.
Yeah, you know.
Years ago, I survived that.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Yeah.
Whoa, dude, you were such an asshole.
You passed that test, you know it's on from now on. You know it's all good. You know, especially when you can laugh at yourself. So yeah.
Well, don't be laughing at anybody else
until
you can.
After yesterday's show, I got a whole bunch of permission for a whole new bunch of yummies. So many blessings for yesterday. Kate, you're preluding to the show and Savon coming in. That was
it's magical.
There's no, that was pure divine timing, not our timing, people.
And that's the thing.
Savon knows what's up.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with Savon. Like, he'll show up at the table periodically, and generally, I think I've only ever had one, maybe two scheduled shows with him, but he has showed up impromptu.
That's divine timing.
Well, that's exactly it. And as I've said to him many times, and he knows this, anytime he feels the need just to get word out that this table is there, and you heard last night that was a man handing off so much truth energy. It was like what's a Yellowstone Park, the Old Faithful. He just came in and the guys went. And this is why, and I really need people to get this. We can all be at this table anytime we want. So when Savon shows up here, I just bow right out and I step back and I let him roll. I'm not interested in people's questions. I'll be really blunt about that, because your questions, I got to tell you, are going to be, yes, they'll be fine, but the truth of the matter is, if you had your ears on, you would be hearing the answers to that question anyway. Because if you need to ask the question, it's only for your own confirmation of what you already know. That's a fact. So accept what you know and get in the flow.
Just mute everybody, Kate, when he comes on. Absolutely.
I had Mike and Mark help me out too, because there was a lot of calls in last night. But you see, really, and I, especially with people like Mark Patio and Savon Bomer, when these guys show up, you let them roll. And I'll be blunt. There are no questions that I honestly feel would be relevant to ask these guys, because they're going to tell you the answer anyway. So let's just save the bother and just get the download. Let them roll. So I would ask if these guys show up, if Savon wants to answer questions or whatever, and he always says he does, but he always runs out of time, because I know that's what he does. And it's not that he doesn't answer questions. Of course he does. So do I. I love answering questions. But when the download's rolling, you just let it roll. And that's one of the joys of watching Bill Donahue. There's a guy in constant roll. Anytime you listen to Savon, it's a constant roll. So just be mindful of that when these guys, because we don't
stay in your stay in your bubble.
We don't get a lot of that interaction, especially dedicated interaction from the likes of these people. So I sit back and I really enjoy it. As soon as Savon started talking, there's only a couple of times I jumped in, and that was just to clarify a point, to ask Savon had he looked at the Narmer palette, because we talked in terms back and forth, and see one of the pieces of the puzzle I have, well, to me is and I'm not saying it because it's me. To me is the most critical to the puzzle of all, because until that original contract, the original sin is broken, you're still attached to the Whore of Babylon, and your intentions are still being drained off, even a little bit. So for me, it's about cutting that whole thing. And people like Sivan, a powerhouse like that, running full bore, you're not going to stop them. And that's all I'm interested in, watching these guys bulldoze through.
Yep, exactly. And I've understood the palette too. What's the palette?
Oh, the Narmer palette.
Yeah. I understand that real good now. You did great.
Well, that's the joy of what Sivan did. He brought that. Yeah.
Pardon me.
Go ahead, Darren. No, go ahead, because we'll roll over a little bit here.
That intent that Sivan was putting out last night was for all.
Mhm.
Your acceptance of yourself is for all. The acceptance of being in your bubble is for all. The acceptance of staying out of his bubble's way is for all. And the gratitude of silence is for all. And in that, what is delivered is beyond imagination, because be fucked if I'm going to sit and read as much as that man has.
Mm-hmm.
And never gain enough knowledge to even ask him an intelligent question. I'm the guy that's going to sit in front of him and go, uh-huh. And okay, I do with just about anybody who wants to share what's inside of their thumbprint, their heart, their core, their supernova, their Big Bang, their covenant.
That's a beautiful compliment. That's a beautiful compliment. I sure hope Sivan listened to that. That was very good compliment that you gave that man.
That wasn't a compliment. That was an affirmation for you all.
That's a statement of fact.
That's
all
an
that
affirmation.
You know. Is that Aquarian talking? You know that's a statement of fact. You know. Is that Aquarian talking? I know. That's affirmation. That's not no. All right, brother. I hear you. Tell it like it is.
I have gone to the point where, no. Cancel, clear. The acceptance as being the circle in the center of the flower of life. I have witnessed the fall of the limits created within following the zodiac to 1 degree of perception. No matter what your zodiac sign is and how you have fallen in love with it, I assure you, when you accept all 360 degrees, that wholeness, you will deliver yourself into witnessing all. Because you will see the Scorpio in you. Because this is my stinger. If I get my stinger out, ooh. If I go Taurus on your ass, I'm sorry. You may want to take a number.
Well, I don't hear any fear in you or no ego. I do not hear that in you. I do not hear fear, not hear ego.
I have to grab that and throw it on my shoulder every day and say, shut up and serve. You collect data and make sure I don't shit my pants, and I do something good today.
Yeah, what it is we're doing, Darren, you're right. What it is we're doing is collecting knowledge. We're collecting information. We're collecting the way that it was. We're reestablishing something that was lost, and we're playing our part. And I hear Sivan, I hear the different beings that I know have chosen to seek the truth, regardless of what they've come against. And that's exactly what it is I'm doing. That's why I'm listening. I'm listening to what it is they know, And when there's an agreement, meaning not a similarity, but an exact acknowledgement of, yeah, you have aha, right? That's what I'm bringing to the table. And I'm going to look up, I don't know what's his name, Sivan Boehm?
Boehmer.
Boehmer. Boomer, right. This is what we're doing. What I wanted to do. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying is that what I experienced in '91, okay, directly relates to what the fuck is going on with who it is and what it is we are. That I know. That I will stand with, and I don't give a shit what anybody on this planet or throughout the universe thinks otherwise. You see? Standing in that truth and standing in that acknowledgement, and we agree with each other, you know, that's the point where we're gonna start busting this shit wide open. And then you'll see shifts happening, you know. So I'm not gonna bow down and pray to these friggin' religious yahoos, okay, because they got shitloads of followers, you see.
Well, that's what I... Yeah, fall lowers, indeed. Now, I didn't want to carry on into the recording tonight, guys, so I'm going to jump in here and just I'll share one thought, and then you guys can share a thought to finish off here. It's as simple as this. If you're going into a city you don't know, and you're looking to get somewhere, the best person to ask is probably a cab driver that has driven that city for many years and knows it like the back of their hand. And that's how I see knowledge. You see, people like Bomer, and I will put myself in there, and Bill and Santo and so many of us, all we've done is driven our taxi cabs around the cities of knowledge in a relentless, I know for me, and I know Savan as well, and Santo, Bill, there's not one I can really think that wasn't relentless in that search. And that's all that is this. When one dedicates everything that they have, and I'll be blunt, if you think that I had this planned for my life, no, I didn't. Quite the opposite, actually. But I will tell you this: the motivations that put me on the path that I'm on were extremely intense, and gave me all the motivation I need to ever want anything like this to ever happen to anyone else. So I've been on this road solid for the last 4 years, 12 to 16 hours a day. I eat, breathe, and sleep this. I don't have to, go out and do a job. No, I think my job is quite taxing enough as is, and I bet you yours is better than mine. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is this. There are those of us, and this is not a separation, this is just merely an observation. If I was going to go into a city that Savan knew that Savan was a taxi driver in, I am going to sit back in the back seat and go, Savan, take me. In the very same way I know he would do the same for me. In the same way that Bill would do it, in the same way that Mike Tessarian or Mark Passio would do it. And that's all I'm asking. And it's not because we're better or smarter. It's just an experiential. It's just a different way of observing. And again, do not separate yourself from me by thinking I'm separate from you. And anytime someone puts themselves on a pedestal or removes themselves from the level playing field to make themselves lesser, it's a slight on me. And I will look in my own mirror and say, what do I need to do to change this so that they will see themselves as I do, perfect in every way. And the only thing that ever gets in the way of that is one thing, program. No. That's the only thing. So anytime a debate opens up in any shape, way, or form, that's just pure ego. Observe it, see it for what it is. Then you can take that tool and put it in the toolbox outside of yourself. And the only reason I use ego now, it's not even really that. It's I wouldn't even call it ego anymore. They're just tools, because I know how to make an ego react. All I got to do is push this button to make an ego jump 1.3 inches. If I push this, it'll jump 4.8 inches. If I push this, it will smile. If I push this one, it will get angry. If I push this one, it will start to debate. And I use these tools, I would say, fairly effectively. And this is what's been done to us to manipulate us into fear. So I'll use the ego against itself to manipulate you back out of it. Until you see it for what it is, and when you do, you go, cool. and then you become the creator that you always were and always are and always will be. So it's not that we're any smarter or any better or anything else. It's just we have been driving these cities in the cab a lot more than others. You know, you don't see a cab driver as someone greater than you when you go to a city you don't know. Just get in the cab and say, okay, take me here. And when you get there, all you got to do is hand over a little bit of money. Right? With us, it's a free ride.
Yeah, you know what it is people have been doing, Kate? They've been jumping in a car from somebody who just got to that state, right? Never been there before, has no clue where they're going. And they get in the back seat and say, take me this way. Well, I don't know where I'm going.
It's actually worse than that, Richie. Richie, it's actually worse than that because I'm sitting in the cab driving, and I've got people in the back seat trying to tell me where to go in my own city. And I'll go. Okay, fine. You want to go there? Look, fuck, dead end, huh? Cool. All right, now here, stay with me. Are you gonna let me drive now, or are you gonna? Okay. Oh, you want to go down this road now? Okay. Let's go on that one. All right. Oh, look, another dead end. Everybody happy yet? Are we there yet? Are we there? And that's all you hear. Are we there yet? And I said, well, if you stop trying to give me directions, because I'm going to be the all-obedient cab driver, I will drive you, like the genie will, anywhere you want, because I will not trespass on your free will choice. But don't get pissed at me because your fare has gone exponential. That was your fault, not mine. And at the end of it, it's a 0-point cab fare anyway. So, again, just an analogy. It is my intent, my only benevolent intent, to show as much as I have found. All of it. In the for the final outcome of you seeing who you are. My intent is for all to win. If anyone has flaw with that, let me know. I'm here to make you right. I'm here to show you, as I've been trying to show myself, the way home. And we're walking it together, shoulder to shoulder. And it's like the story I started off with tonight is more proof. Imagine how that makes me feel, knowing that I was able to help someone I have never met, have never talked to. We're able to do that. And all because, what? I chose to serve all instead of self. It's a really neat feeling. You should try it sometime. I know many of you do. But when you affect the lives of others you've never met for the better, and then you hear it back through the grapevine, it's quite a humbling experience, I assure you. And it's also an affirmation of going, yeah, I knew I was on the right course. I don't need the confirmations anymore. I don't need the affirmations, most certainly. And I don't really need the acknowledgments or gratitude, because no one will be more grateful than I when I see others doing what I know they should be doing anyway. This is your road, and we all walk it together. And some of us have some really cool shortcuts through the city. So if you want to find the shortcuts, keep your minds open, keep your hearts open, and keep your ears and eyes open. And forget everything you ever knew, because that's how we found these things. We didn't have all the clutter and the screaming demon in the passenger seat trying to grab the steering wheel. I put a 9mm in the side of its head. You know. And there you have it. That's pretty much all I have to say for tonight. We'll come back tomorrow night. But if you guys want to take a minute, and please be brief. Sunday night, I'd like to kind of chill out. So, but have last thoughts from everybody, please.
Yeah, good evening. It was a good evening, Kate. It was a good evening, man. It was a good evening. Everybody, good evening. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Thank you, Kate. Way
Thank
to
you.
bring it together like that, you know. That's the truth. It's an experience. When you walk from the table, you got a new now. And you're carrying the table with you, because that consciousness is screaming from you. No one can get away from it. Dogs love you, cats love you. Thank you all. Gratitude. My heart, as my brothers my brothers, the originals of this land, they put their hands to their chest and they motion forward with open palms to those who gift them with presents. It's not about what they get, it's what for welcoming you. And it's gratitude they give you from their core. They hold the light. The energy is held because they have their hands, and they expel it from their chest into their hands, and their hands just slowly deliver it to you. And it's real. It works really good. And that extension, that intention, you will do more than getting out of your bubble. And it was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for the experience. And I get to share it with the people I'm around now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you. That's good.
Everybody good? Everybody happy?
Yeah.
Happy, joy.
And if I was God and you are, this is what I do. Love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
See you tomorrow, kids. Bye, everybody.
Look what you can do.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I love that line.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
The document, when you touched it, that's slightly higher than the rest of the document, which makes it a raised seal. Yeah? Thought you might. It's got nothing to do with the X. It's got nothing to do with the signature. It's got nothing to do with the line. Nothing to do with any of that. Those are all the distractions. Because you can see them. I'll tell you, if you can see it, it's a distraction. Go look for the shit you can't see. Then you'll see what's going on. So in fact, just to lay it out in very clear terms, when you go in to get a loan at a bank, it is you that is lending whoever is sitting across the table in the bank money. You're guaranteeing for that bank manager or loans officer this money. You're lending it to them because dead things can't contract, you see. You're making a contract with the bank. They want to keep you dead, though, right? And they have forensic evidence that, of dead skin cells, right? Let the dead bury the dead, right? And that's your Midas touch on everything. No, you lent the bank manager. I'll just say the bank manager, just for sake of whatever titles they used for these monkeys. But anyway, what you've done is you have sealed the deal with that individual. You have lent them the money. Remember, they're so helpful. Well, don't worry. I'll take care of making sure that they get the check and everything else, right? You never see the cash. They don't just hand you the cash over, do they? No. It's got to be them that makes the buy because you lent them the money. That's keeping them in honor. So what the bank manager does then, let's say you have a $500,000 mortgage that you want to get scammed with. You think you're buying a house. No, you're not. The bank manager is buying it for you, and you're going to be their tenant. And woe betide you if you skip out on your mortgage, death pledge. Because the instant you do that, the bank comes to their employee and says, hey, what's up with, well, they don't actually do this, but this is the concept behind it. Most bank managers don't know that they're on the hook for every loan they've ever made. They're fucking criminals on criminals, man. They've got no idea. So it might be an idea to think back to who you signed the deal with, and you're going to have to either get them subpoenaed in or you're going to have to file a fraud motion against them. Can you say monkey wrench? Speaking of monkey pipe, let's talk about a monkey wrench. This is where you get a good pipe fitter. No, this is the one individual they don't want in the bank because they're the ones that really cut the deal with you. You see, and here's the joke of it all, too. It's got nothing to do with the mortgage. It's got nothing to do with the house or anything else. You're a third-party interloper. You have no business in there. You're just a fucking tenant. It was the bank manager who skipped out in the loan. They just chew into paying it for them. And as soon as you stop paying their mortgage or their loan for them, lo and behold, what happens? Well, they have a contract with the bank, so the bank comes and says, well, we'll just take that piece of property. And the joke of it all, not one single thing in terms of any value was ever exchanged. It's just an agreement. Little numbers in the computer, little pieces of paper people call money, little pieces of paper that people call contracts, and all the rest of it. And that's all distraction. You see, it's got nothing to do with the money. It's got nothing to do with the paper. It's got nothing to do with the digital numbers. None of that stuff. It's got everything to do with your soul. And tonight, boys and girls, we're going to have a bit of fun. And hopefully I can use the ego fear tool to show you that giving up your soul is not a good thing. And it's my intention to motivate you a little bit more into the spiritual realm, because otherwise, well, here, it's a win-win or a lose-lose, right? You go for the immortal soul, made some new friends. Reading and listening for about a week or so made me realize so many things, and that made it possible to connect the dots even more. I wrote a letter of 16 pages to the agent personally, where I confronted him with the fraud, clearly stated my intentions, claimed my rights, and gave him 21 days to respond. Well, that's 1 month ago now. Have not heard a single thing from neither him, the bank, nor the notary ever since. Nothing. While they were attacking me like a swarm of mosquitoes before. That's the power of intent and knowing who you are. So thank you all for standing in truth and helping me do the same. Many, many blessings and much love. Many, many blessings and much love back. It's kind of how it works. And this is how it's done. So thank you for showing everyone in such clear, unrequited brilliance. Just one second. Now, I did not, not that it's really, really important. Didn't get a name, but okay. I know some of the people involved, and it's part of the Holland group. And I got to tell you guys, if you know anything about history, taking out the Goonies in Holland, you're playing in the Premier Division there, baby. All right? There's no 4th Division soccer there. That's Premier Division. So that's not a light victory. That is monster. So that being said, for those of you that are dealing in a mortgage type of situation, one, I've got an open door. It's called a case file. So you might as well throw lots of intention in there. And the first intention I would suggest people to do, and I'm working, that's the problem with no name. You got to be really careful, and I'm talking about me here, and how you deal things. So I always resist the physical temptation to do something, because that's not where I live. So it's an interesting game, perspective from here, I'll tell you that. But here, if I was you, this is what I would do. If I was still in that situation, I would simply subpoena or file a motion, whatever. I don't know what the hell was. I'd have to go back through my notes just to see the protocol that they like to railroad people with. But the bottom line is this. If it's involving a mortgage, I will bet you dimes to donuts that the real criminal isn't even listed. I will bet you that they would certainly not like to have whoever signed the loan with you present, because they're the ones that skipped out on the loan. Now, what I will suggest for people to do is go and read the Loans and Mortgages Who's Who essay on my website, creativegaia.wordpress.com. And this will make a whole lot more sense. You also will want to look at the Midas Touch essay and have a look at contracts as well. And put all the pieces together and you'll see very quickly what's going on there. You'll understand what a seal really is, and it's a raised seal that's on every signed document. If you touched it, there's a raised seal. You can't see it, though. It's called DNA. You leave little bits of your meat stick lying around somewhere, maybe, like on the bottom of the fence. I love hand grenades over. Yeah, because, well, I had to tell you, somebody wants to keep throwing empty hand grenades at me, I'm going to fill them up with gunpowder and toss them back. And that's exactly what the system's going to do with those that won't take the time to get the concept, because it's, see, here's the trick of the tale. You are the power. You are the gunpowder, not the words on the paper. And this is probably the most difficult thing for me, to literally peel this paper off people, get it out of their universe. But let me share something first, then I will, let's do a little inspiration, because this is the kind of stuff I love to, and it happens quite regular with those that know who they are and are willing to stand not just for themselves, but stand shoulder to shoulder with the rest of us. That's what's going to separate the wheat from the chaff. Those that are playing in the game for the gimme games of the, what matters most for me, is definitely not something that's in balance with the universe. For me, it's what's best for all, because I'm included in that all. So I won't be selfish and say me, me, me. I will say all, because I'm part of that. So if I want something perfect for all, gosh darn it. Isn't that neat, right? He goes, I want it perfect for me. Excuse me. So I'll share this first, and I'm going to offer up a wrench for those that are dealing with any sort of mortgage stuff. And I'll get into the reasons why, but mainly because it's an open door. See, where people see court as a challenge, I only see it as an open door to strangle the beast, literally cut its heart out by invitation. Well, you see, that's the thing about consent. If you're being invited into a courtroom, well, isn't that funny? You get to be the vampire. Time for you to turn the tables a little bit, no? Isn't that what Jesus did? Yeah, some radical truther guy like that went in and turned the tables. Allegory. And that's what it means. Those things that were used against you in your mind of duality are the very same things that you use the other way to balance them out. Right? Then it comes singular. So here's what I'll share. And I have to say a great big thank you for those that take the time to put together little posts to share with everyone, just so everyone gets to see it. So this one is from a group that Ninja overlooks. From the Heart is the name of the Facebook group. Thank you, Ninja, for posting this. These are the kind of things that just rock my universe. From the Heart. As soon as I set foot in my homeland again, a collecting agent from the homeland being Netherlands, Holland, whatever you want to call it, the Orange country, yes. As soon as I set foot in my homeland again, a collecting agent from the bank was on the hunt, since I gave them the keys and papers back of their house when I left the country over a year ago. And so the agent wanted to put me in debt for almost $150,000 and have me sign some documents that would have taken me even deeper down the snake pit. I had no idea how to get them to leave me alone. That's all I wanted. But having no solution made me almost give up. And that's not me. I can't give up. Of course not. So about 5 weeks ago, I stumbled upon this page, the lovely no nonsense and sharp as a samurai blade Ninja Bambi, Kate's writings, some very helpful page members, the radio shows and recordings.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good evening and welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, coming at you live for criticalmassradio.co.uk from somewhere in the known and unknown universe. I am just a figment of your imagination, a thought in the back of your mind, kicking and screaming, saying, wake up. That's all I scream. Wake up. Wake up. Someone's got to wake up. This is boring. Anyway, what a great night last night. It's all wonderful when Sivan comes in, and I think it's pretty clear that I love hearing him talk, because anytime he comes in, I know it's going to be a pure download, so I just sit back, curl up, and wait for story time. That's just one of the beautiful speakers that Sivan is. You just sit back and go on the ride with him. Yeah, I just wanted a couple of things, too. Something I wanted to mention last night, before we ended up going off in that wonderful direction. I just want to say a great big thank you to Frank, British Columbia. I got to tell you, this what you sent me was the absolute last thing. It was on my list of last things I would ever expect in this known universe. And I have my very own O.W. Grant hand-carved monkey head pipe. So the universe delivers after all. It's pretty wild. You see my face when I open the box. It's like, no. So thank you so very, very much. And it sits in a place of honor. So I guess we'll be granting wishes now. Who wants one? Careful. Remember. What do they say? If OW takes a shine to you. So stay shiny. That's all I can say. Stay shiny. But anyway, a couple of things I want to touch on tonight. Let me just go back to. Well, there's a lot of things I want to share, but I also just want to let Fran know that I will be talking about something that will be very helpful. And I'll tell you, the only time I will indulge, and that's all it is, it's just an indulgence basically to bitch slap the system in the mouth. The only time I will indulge in directing anyone with anything is when I know that they're not of the system, not in the system, and not only have been willing to take a run at it, but are in a prime position to take a run at it. The difference between someone that I don't mind working with is from someone that I won't is the intention behind it. If it's someone's intention to go for their own gimme, not interested. If it's someone's intention to go, let's take this whore down, shall we? Then I'm all over that. I've met a couple of those in the last few days. So this is only really the only time I'll step in and offer any sort of opinion. And mind you, those that are in the gimme, this works for you as well. But you kind of got to know who you are first. Otherwise, it's going to be basically useless, like so many Freeman gimme types that only saw me as a means for them to keep their toys and make their life all peachy for them and fuck everybody else. I don't play on that side of the side of the game. Pick door number 1, the soul, Bob. Because once you pick door number 1, you win both doors, physical and spiritual. You pick the physical. Well, you know the one in Let's Make a Deal. They opened the door up when somebody made a mistake and it had a goat tied on a stick. Yeah, your goat got, baby. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't have to want to be the one that has to come back around in this game in a ongoing Groundhog Day. Because I assure you, each time you come back, you're depleted a little bit more. You have more knowledge. But I'm not sure about how strong your will is going to be. That's the real clincher for me. Yeah, you may know how to win. You may know exactly what to do. But if you haven't got the fight in you, you're done anyway. I've met more armchair billionaires than I'd ever want to shake a stick at. Well, you know, Kate, if I did this, and I'm just going over my whole lifetime. I met many of these people. You know, if I did this, and this, I could be a millionaire, and I could do that. And I said, yeah, it's great. None of them ever did. So very few ever do that, you see. It takes will. It takes spirit, soul, to do these things, to achieve. And I'm not talking about achieving money. Screw that. What I'm talking about is finding yourself again. And the irony here is people that don't want to do it obviously don't think that they're worth it. See, there's the difference. I know you are. And there's nothing more frustrating for me to watch people that I know are fully capable succumbing to the same shit they've always succumbed to. Until maybe they might reach that enough point. They might have something shake their universe enough to wake them up, to move them that one baby step forward. I was saying Battle Los Angeles. Retreat? Hell. We just got here. Not a chance. This is a game of take no prisoners. This is a game of no quarter was ever offered, so no quarter is ever given. Those that make the rules must obey the rules, and I'm good. This is a game for your soul. Not your house, not your car, not your kids, not your family, not your this, not your the other, none of that stuff. No, boys and girls, they want you. And I mean that in the intent, the ability to create intent. You spark of God, you, with this big hose coming out of the back of your head, having all your life source sucked out of you. If you can envision a picture of the whore of Babylon, just think of this festering, scab-curd, gray pussy coming out of her tits whore, with long, scraggy nails and pure death in her eyes. And out of her belly button is this big, long cord, umbilical cord. And it frays off like a tree, you see. You got to think tree. You might want to get a look at Avatar, the tree in that, and you'll see the twisting nature of it. But coming out of her is that umbilical cord going off in infinite little threads, and at the end of each